probably go to StatenIslandGriefCenter.org.
Okay.
And we're just starting to get things up and running, but we can be contacted through there.
StatenIslandGriefCenter.org. Okay, so but somebody could get in touch with you right now through there.
As far as I know, yes, it's all up and running.
Oh, okay.
It's all in the very beginning stages. Most of the stuff that I do comes through phone calls to the parish, who get referred to me then.
All right, so then otherwise they would call the parish. And what's the parish telephone number?
Oh,
you don't know it?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay,
No.
don't worry about it. It's
St. Joseph, St. Thomas.
St. Joseph, St. Thomas, so they can look it up in the phone book.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, very good. Sorry to start. I don't usually play Stump the Guest or anything.
Oh, no, that's okay. You don't think about those things because the referrals just sort of come in.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, because, you know, as I said earlier, nobody's immune to this kind of thing. Everybody experiences it. And when we do, it's good to have somebody, especially a professional like yourself, to turn to, who can sit and understand exactly what is going on, you know, and what the person is experiencing, so that they can get some help. So tell us more about what you do, and tell us about the children.
It is by far the most rewarding thing you can possibly imagine.
To help these children get through loss.
It's probably the most life-affirming thing that you can imagine, because they're still kids.
Yeah.
And so many of the children that I've worked with have suffered things that probably would not allow me to get out of bed in the morning. Things that I couldn't even imagine.
As a child even.
I mean, I know as an adult it would devastate me. I can't imagine.
What do they come to you with?
Murders.
My goodness.
You know, parents murder-suicides. I had several parent murder-suicides. I've had, you know, just devastating losses for kids who've been there in the moment to witness the unimaginable.
Oh, my God.
And who sit across from you and laugh.
They sit across from you and laugh?
Or smile. And they inspire me more than I could ever possibly give to them.
Wow.
Because in the end, they're still kids, and they still want that normalcy. And I don't have words of wisdom to give them. No one's going to say anything that's going to make it okay.
There's no magical formula to say, okay, well, you know, wave a magic wand, you're okay now.
No.
Unfortunately.
So all I do is I sit and I listen to their stories.
And do you think that helps them feel better and makes them more able to move on?
Yeah, because nothing is more valuable to a child than undivided adult attention.
Oh, wow, yeah, I guess so.
You know, you could buy them everything, you could take them everywhere, but nothing means as much to a child as just sitting there and looking them in the eye and listening to them and letting them know that in your crazy, hectic, busy adult schedule, it was important enough to take time out for them.
Wow.
And I just sit there and I listen, and they, you know, we do arts and crafts activities and games and stuff, because sometimes it's intimidating for a child to do something like you and I are doing now, where an adult sort of, it feels like an interrogation to them. So you play a game or you do an arts and crafts activity, and while they're busy engaged in an activity, the next thing you know,
they're talking about it.
out.
Yeah.
And it's just the most miraculous thing. Literally, my job is watching people heal before my eyes.
Well, that's good.
It's the most rewarding
Especially
thing.
the children, because this way you'll know that they are going to grow up without having this dragging down their heart all their life.
And more than that, it makes it okay to talk about.
Yes.
And that's part of what the great gift of being able to do this work is that I open up a dialogue, because we live in a society that doesn't like to talk about death.
Yeah.
You know, we're very afraid that if we talk about it, we're going to invite it to come in.
Oh.
Don't mention it, because then somebody's going to die. And so we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I get to open up that dialogue, and when you do, they have that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid anymore.
Well, that's good. Well, you know, I mean, I know that that you're always afraid of losing someone. When you have your parents, which mine are both gone, when you have your parents, you're always afraid of losing them. And you always think that when the day comes, how am I going to get through it? But you do, because you have to.
Right.
Even as a child or an adult, you have to get through that thing that happened to you where you lost someone. Then then you it's just, I'm just kind of tearing up right now thinking about it. We have a microphone set up, and if anybody, we have a small audience here. If anybody would like to ask a question, you can come up and let us know. Just come up to the microphone. But in the meantime, though, no, this interests me with the children. So you've started to, well, you're working with all these children.
Yes.
And you're seeing a lot, and that's amazing. All right, as far as that is concerned, what about ourselves now? Is there someday we're going to die? Do you have people that come to you and say, I'm afraid to die, talk to me about it?
Sure. And I think part of the reason a lot of people are afraid to die is because we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And so there's no one that they can go to with that makes it acceptable. So it's a very scary thing to think, well, I'm not going to be here anymore. Well, yeah, you are. You are in everything you leave behind. You are in every memory, every heart you touch, every life you come across. You physically know you aren't here, but you're in everything. So people are afraid to die a lot of times because they're afraid that ends it. I didn't leave a mark. I didn't leave a legacy behind. Was it all worth it? I'm going to be erased.
Yeah, everybody's going to forget about me.
No, because one of the things that I think comes across most evidently when you do lose a loved one is I can remember when I lost my dad, I can remember sitting in the wake and there were all these flowers all around. And there were so many people coming in and out, and it struck me how many lives he had touched that I hadn't even realized he had touched.
Oh, sure.
And so I think that that's a lesson for all of us, to be able to have that, to know that you're not going to be erased. You're just going to go on in ways you can't even imagine.
That's true, because you're going to be in people's hearts.
Yes.
Yes. Tommy wants to come up and ask a question.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hello.
Christine knows the story. We started to do a show one time, her and I, that was supposed to be on spirituality, and it wound up being all about my dog.
It's true.
Well, it's very true, and I tell you the truth. From March until May, I lost my brother, but we expected that, Silver Star winner in Vietnam. I lost my best friend, who decided that he was going to walk home instead of taking a car to go to a bar. Came home, got hit by a drunk driver, got killed. Okay? And then I lost my dog. And out of all of it, my dog was the worst. Because he was my best friend. I had him with me all the time, every place he goes. All right? And it's still been very difficult for me to get over him.
Of course.
All right? That I still talk about him. I have a lot of friends who are mediums. They tell me there's this dog running around the stage, or that he's over here, he's over there, doing these things. And the way I've dealt with it is that I recognize his spirit, that he's with me, and he validates. He does validate. He puts, he shows me a person walking near Jack Russell, or I go over to my friend's house who happens to have one. The dog comes running to me, jumps in my arms, just the way Jack is to do. You know what I mean? And just a lot of other little validations that he does. Getting over it, as far as that, I miss him every day, but I know he's with me. So that was my coping mechanism to deal with it. As for my brother, we knew it was expected, okay? And, he didn't die old, he's 64 years old. But, like I said, he was a hero to me because, like I said, in Vietnam, his actions merited the Silver Star, second highest honor.
Wow.
My best friend, that was the tragedy in all of it. I mean, he's trying to do the right thing and gets killed because he's doing the right thing. He would have took his car that night, he would have been alive. So that's how I dealt with it, how I coped with it. Okay. Whether you say it's the right way, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get over the loss of the dog. Everybody's telling me get another dog, and I just don't feel it.
It's not time yet. You're not ready.
Yeah, I'm not ready at all. But anyway, that was the story. Okay.
Well, just know that there is no right or wrong way to cope. It's what works for you. As long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting anyone else, there are no rules. That's what works for you, and that's what's gotten you up and out of bed every day.
Yeah.
So,
well, all these people here, who, all my friends here at the station, they did a lot to help, especially her. She was doing a hell of a lot to, where he is, he's at rest, and he's with you, and blah, blah. And
right.
then when the dog starts validating these things, you know, it just made me feel better in the heart. I was heartbroken. I still am, but
You always will be.
well, I have
always
a
will be.
grandson now, so
There you go.
you know. Anyway,
So that's a happy thing, yes.
all right.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Yeah, as a matter of fact, speaking of which, when I guess a new person comes into your life, like a baby, you know, a child is born into the family, and you're getting close to that child, it kind of almost, I would say, takes the place of what what your heart's been going through for the loss. And so when like a new person comes into your life, a new love, a new baby, a new something, or even a new job or something, it gets your mind on something else. I guess that helps too, to have people come, go along.
Distraction can be a really good thing sometimes, as long as you're not using it as a way to deny your grief.
Oh yeah.
You know, distraction, having a purpose, having a reason to get up in the morning is an amazing thing, but you still have to do the work to grieve.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, you have to, because just like the show that is just preceding this one on TV was with Pranananda and Louis Dore Dupree, and the title of that show was the topic was feeling is healing. So you do have to bring yourself through the emotions. You have to go through the grief. You have to cry. You have to, stomp your feet and be angry at either the person that passed, or sometimes you're angry with God, I guess. Why did you take him? But God, he understands.
Yes, someone once told me you can absolutely yell at God, he can take it.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes, and a Monsignor told me that, so I figure it's on good authority.
Oh yeah, well yeah, he can handle it. That's true. That's
But
true.
it's important.
Oh yeah, well God knows our hearts, and God knows. Oh yes. Oh, hello Hector.
It's okay.
Hi, Hector has a question.
Yes, I do have a question now. Actually, I have two, but how do you handle situations like that when people give you all the grief and all the you have to counsel these people, whether it's suicidal, so forth. How do you separate that? How do you do it?
In other words, I guess, how do you come away without?
Exactly. Without you going crazy, going home and saying, this poor kid came in and told me about his mother shooting himself or something of that nature, or this person was dating somebody and she broke my heart for 15 years and that was it. How do you just separate yourself from that?
Practice. It's a question of having done it for a while. I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and that's what it is. I still cry with the kids sometimes. There are some stories that stay with me that still make me cry. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to me is that they walked away feeling better. And knowing that I might have had a hand in helping them walk away feel better makes it a little easier to leave it there. And one of the tricks is most grief counselors don't do the counseling out of their own home.
Right.
Or in a place where you are. So you can kind of leave the emotion there and you can walk away from it. But really it's just a question of practice and knowing how to take a deep breath and focus on the good that you do instead of the baggage that you might take home.
When you first started with your practice, the first case, do you remember your first case that you had to say, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm getting this for the first time?
To be honest with you, this life kind of found me. It wasn't a life I ever planned on.
Okay.
I never expected to be working with children. I certainly never expected to be doing grief work. I remember being terrified. My very first group, I walked in and there were 10 kids under the age of 10. Sitting at a table, and I thought, they're going to eat me alive. What can I possibly say to these kids? And to be honest, I don't remember much about that first group at all. It's kind of a blur. I couldn't tell you what I said. I don't know what I did. The only thing I remember about that first group is when I finished it, I called my mom and I said, I know what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. And
You knew your calling.
yes, and it just spiraled from there.
Just evolved, huh? That's because it was meant to be.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
And
Yes.
one last one.
Go ahead,
I
Jim.
don't want to take up too much
No,
time.
go ahead, Hector. Come on, ask your
When
question.
somebody dies, and you said you've had practice, do you give them a trick or